Hi, good afternoon, grape growers. Welcome to the virtual tour. Kind of a little strange this year, but hey, the technology is here. Why don't we try to use it, right? So I'm Mike, main guy, executive winemaker at Luckett Vineyards. For those of you who don't know me, well, what a difference a year makes, eh, guys? It's been crazy. Been a lot going on, obviously. Certainly COVID has changed our world, everyone's world, and now it's been sort of an adapting period and figuring out what the new situation is going to be. But as all of you know, as grape growers, life goes on and the grapes keep growing, and what a difference that year is compared to the last few years. So I hope everyone's in pretty good spirits these days. It's been a pretty good year. I mean, it's not without its problems. Been a lot of humidity issues, but man, the heat came back this year, that's for sure. And yeah, it's nice to see some fruit on the vines after what was a really hard couple years. So welcome to the tour. I'm going to give you just kind of a little bit of a rundown, and we're going to do a little bit of a try with a virtual tasting. So I've picked a couple wines to try for you, and a nice little range of some things that are happening right now here at Luckett Vineyards, and a nice link to the work that you as fine grape growers do for us and for our entire industry here in the province. So I'll do a little bit of an introduction on a few of the wines and a little bit of a background, and then I'm going to have Ray Tilley, who is our retail manager here. She runs the shop at Luckett Vineyards, and she's also a recent graduate of the NSCC, the winery program there. So nice little tie to our local industry as well, and nice to see some really good people coming out of that program, and it's developing and coming along really nicely. So I'm going to bore you with a few little details about some of the wines and some of the things, the ways that we make them, and your product and how it contributes. And then I'm going to have Ray do the actual little tasting part, because let's face it, nobody wants to hear me talk that long, and there's a reason they keep me out of the tasting bar. Maybe I'm it's not always my strong suit. You should also know as well that all of these wines are available at the NSLC, so if you do want to try them afterwards, if you can't make it to our lovely vineyards, which is open under restrictions, the same ones that you're all fully aware of, yeah, you can try these wines out if you haven't already. So okay, so the first wine that I decided to talk about today is our Triumph d'Alsace is the grape. Not a lot of people grow it in the province. There's a few growers, but we have a significant amount of it planted. And for us, since the beginning of the winery, it's been kind of a steady little workhorse in the single varietal category, and it's really the only single varietal red that I've made in a few years. Triumph took a real hit. Triumph d'Alsace took a real hit in the frost of 2018. We basically, after the frost, we cut it back 100%. Anything that was there wasn't there, and we decided to just completely, to take it off. So we had no fruit that year. But what happened in 2019 was that the fruit actually came back, and it was one of our best performers as far as red grapes go. It really, sprung back nicely, where some of the other grapes that we had pushed some fruit, even minimal fruit in 2018, did not fare well in the tough 2019 season. So the Triumph fared remarkably well. I like to make it in kind of a lighter, fruitier style. It's more of a fruit-forward wine. It's got a lot of good berry characteristic. But one thing that I do with it is Passamento style winemaking, which is something that I've done really since I've been in Nova Scotia, and I dabbled in it in Niagara a little bit beforehand. But it's basically, the drying of grapes and the reincorporation of those grapes into the fermentation at certain percentages. And I have the percentages that I like for Triumph, and I've done it the last few releases, and I think it really adds a lot. It really builds up the body, and helps with the concentration, and you get a lot of juicy fruit character coming through. And but it's light and refreshing, and it's got that classic Nova Scotia style. So I'm going to let Ray do a little bit of a rundown on the Triumph, which is very happy to have it back in the lineup after it was away in 2018. Ray, give it to you.
Hi guys, my name is Ray. Mike introduced me earlier. I'm going to be pouring for you guys our 2019 Triumph next. This is a single varietal red. It is loosely related to the Coolman family, and this is a big cult favorite with our regular customers. We did not have it last year, sadly, but after a long hiatus, we are super thrilled to have it back. It is pouring wonderfully right now. The nose on this guy, after being aged in Hungarian oak, you're going to get a lot of light cigar notes, a little bit of blueberry jam even, and with the flavor profile after all the Apassimento style drying that Mike mentioned earlier, you're going to be getting cooked dark fruit, so cooked plum, black currant, maybe even a little dark chocolate on the finish.
The second wine that I chose to virtually taste with you guys today, you're probably all familiar with, and I chose it for specific reasons, is our 2019 Tidal Bay. So Tidal Bay, Appellation project here in the province. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, and the reason I picked it is that a significant portion of the grapes that come from grape grower members all across the province, I know are used in a high degree with a lot of the Tidal Bays that are made. It's become kind of like a workhorse wine for the province. It's something that we do significantly well, consistently well every year. That light, fresh, aromatic quality with it, it matches perfectly with our local cuisine. It's just a fun project. And the reason I wanted to include it with the tasting is, a few reasons, but the main one is the connection to you guys, the grape growers. In the province, there's a lot of Lacady and there's a lot of white varietals that are out there, and they really are the backbone of this wine that has really helped put Nova Scotia table wines on the map, not only across Canada but internationally as well. So kudos to you for helping contribute to this momentum of Tidal Bay.
So next we're going to be moving on to our 2019 Tidal Bay here. Now for you guys at home, I am actually from Ontario, not Nova Scotia, so I think that the concept of Tidal Bay is absolutely fantastic. I love that it makes the wine industry down here super collaborative and really community focused. Now with our Tidal Bay, the 2018 versus the 2019 vintage, the blend has changed a bit. We have removed Traminette out of the blend, and so going from 2019 to 2018, I have noticed that the flavoring on this guy starting to get more towards fresh, golden, delicious apple, maybe a spritz of lemon on the finish, but at the end of the day, what we want our Tidal Bay to taste like is very crisp, very clean, very thirst quenching.
Well, we've talked about a red and we've talked about a white, so I guess in a balanced world we would probably throw a rosé in here, and this is what I want to do. But I'm going to do a little twist here for you. Rosés are really great out of this region. We do it really well. It's almost in the same realm of Tidal Bay, where there's a consistent quality of the rosés that are being produced in Nova Scotia, and they range from bone dry to extra sweet, depending on where you're getting it from and what your style and what your preferences are. So there's a lot of variability, and it's great, but it's consistently good. And I think you've seen an increase in rosé production across the province, and likely you will see a continuation of that. It's something that really works well with our growing season. You can really get a lot of good quality out of these grapes. You're getting long maturation times and phenological ripeness and with the long growing season, but still retaining acidity and those things that really work well with rosés in a refreshing capacity. So I make a few rosés here. We've got our Rosetta, which is our still wine. We have a new fizz rosé, which is a slightly spritzy, frizzante style kind of rosé that is a partner to our Foam Box Fizz, which has been a popular wine here for years. But we have a new one out. Well, it's not really new. It's been around for a couple of years, but it's sort of the new, I guess it's a new kid, sort of maybe a middle brother, a series of brothers. I wanted to talk about our Hair of the Dog can series. This is a little project that has been incredibly fun right from the get-go. Gina Luckett, our GM and owner, basically her and I started sort of talking about canned wine back in 2017. 2018 we kind of really started taking it seriously. We did a tiny little singular one-off run with a fun little can. And then we decided to take it a little bit more seriously, because as a trend, canned wines and different packaging for wines is something that is not only being accepted around the world, but it's thriving. It's really driving a lot of markets, certainly in hip wine markets all around the world. But this is something that is really exploding, and so we wanted to play around with it, and we put together the hair of the dog, which was a neat little idea. And what it is, it's a spritzy sort of rosé, very dry, but it's served in a can. And we basically made 3 cans with the same wine in each can, each featuring a different vineyard dog of one of the dogs that roams our vineyards, night and day. They live here on the property. And so you can choose your favorite dog if you wanted to buy it that way. So there's Pippa, Gracie, and Lloyd. And unfortunately, Gracie at the end of last year passed away. But we've kept her on the can because she was a great dog around the vineyard. She was always very helpful removing birds and other things. So Godspeed, Gracie, wherever you are. Anyways, it's a fun little thing. It's super exciting. People are really into it. This old misconception about cans and boxes, boxed wine and all this stuff, it's really changing. Like, the demographic of wine drinkers is changing, and people are being less tied and adhered to the old rules of the past, where they connected quality sometimes to what was how the wine was served or produced. And there's a whole new young group of folks out there that are throwing caution to all that, and it's great. And so you're seeing really quality products getting released in these different packaging. You're seeing it around the province. There's also some really great canned work obviously happening here in the province. There's several wineries that are excelling in it right now, and there's many more who are working on projects. I think there's at least 4 that I know of. And some of your grapes have likely gone into some of those products from Benjamin Bridge, from the Devonian Coast Company, from us, from Avondale Sky, and probably some more coming down the line. So I don't think anyone should expect this to be a one-off. I think you're going to start to see a lot more of this. And why not? It's fun, it's enjoyable, it makes a lot of sense. They're single-serve cans, 250 ml. Basically, it's a glass of wine per can. You can buy 3 of them, and it's like the same as a bottle. They're really fun. They're great. They look cool. The packaging's great. And more importantly for me, the wine inside is super clean, super refreshing. Everyone's been loving it. It's a great summertime drink. So I'm going to give it over to Ray. She can talk about the dogs. And I want you to try it. Get in here and try it out. It's going quick. You're starting to sell it at the NSLC, but baby steps, and it moves quick as soon as we bring it in. So give it a try, and yeah, I hope you really enjoy it.
Okay guys, so the last wine that we're going to be talking about today is our canned Hair of the Dog wine. This is a very cool one for me to talk about, especially being in my 20s. A lot of people my age really like canned wines, and I think it's also very fantastic that we are producing a lot of canned wines, not just at Luckett Vineyards, but at other wineries in the valley, given the fact that there's a much more reduced carbon footprint when you're canning and shipping these items. Now, as far as the canned wine goes, with the Hair of the Dogs, they are all Lacadie and Leon Malo co-ferment, kept at very cold temperatures. And the result here is going to be a very crisp, very zesty wine. Gonna have flavors of light strawberry, a little bit of grapefruit on the finish, and of course, who doesn't love a can with a dog on it? This is our owner, Pete Luckett's dog, and we find that people really enjoy those, so there you go.
Anyways, guys, thanks for your time. I appreciate you tuning in. I know it's a Friday afternoon, and I'm gonna assume it's beautiful weather. I'm filming this in advance, but there's a lot of things you could be doing. So thank you. I appreciate your time and your energy, and I hope you enjoyed the tasting. You learned a little bit about what we're doing here. Checking out my sweet videographer skills, because apparently I'm doing that too now. So I had fun doing it. So anyways, listen guys, enjoy the rest of the day. I'm sure we'll bump into you soon. Enjoy the rest of the summer. Looking forward to harvest. She's going to be a good one this year. Fingers crossed. Everybody positive. I think we got this. We're back. All the best, guys. Cheers.